Happy Saturday. Welcome. We know other people will join us as we go along today. Reverend Chooks is going to be joining us shortly, but I am going to start this event because today is precious to everyone. Everybody's busy one way or the other, but I truly, sincerely appreciate the time everybody has taken to join this seminar. We sincerely appreciate that. So I'm going to just go briefly over what we are going to be discussing today. I hope everybody is excited. It's real estate. Real estate is very, very important for everybody, whether it's a first-time home buyer or whether you want to buy a second property, whether you want to go into investment properties. If you know people that you believe will actually benefit from this seminar today, I encourage you to please forward the links to them. It's a good thing to endeavor to be a homeowner. Folu is going to talk more about that, but I just want to hype everybody up because it's a very great thing. It's an asset. It's a great asset. And if you know anyone that you can think of, just forward the link to them. It's for us to forward our links. It's for people to join if they want to. It's not pressure, but there is a lot of things that we have to learn in these things. And I just want to encourage every one of us. We all have friends. We all have family members. Like I said, whether it's your first time, there's always something to learn. So knowledge is something that I believe that everybody should continue to seek, even until we're old and everything. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is key. You never know when what you learn from somewhere, you never know when you are going to be able to give that advice to somebody else or when you're going to be able to use that knowledge. So always seek knowledge, which is part of what we are doing here today. So, like I said, the three key things that we are going to be talking about today is how to get started in home ownership. Information is key, but information does change. So it is always good to be current with information. We can see how dynamic our world is, how the economic climate changes, and maybe what I knew when I bought my first house, what I knew when I sold my first house, when I knew when I bought my second, when I sold my second, when I bought my third, or what I knew when I got into the buyer's market again. It's probably changed. So people might have told you some things, but why don't you learn and also prepare your questions as you listen today, as we'll be taking questions before we end this seminar. We're also going to discuss how to use this current economic climate to your advantage to own a home. It's an asset. Whether we like it or not, it's an asset. We don't just want to continue to be renters and making our landlords be the ones that is benefiting from being able to own a home and also building equity. And also, we're going to be discussing mortgage programs in place for first-time home buyers. Outside these three things, if you have any other things, please write it down and ask. So we have two people here today that will be speaking. We have Folu Akindunni. Folu is our own brother, is our own dedicated real estate agent. He's for us, for many of us, is an investor, is a consultant who has built his career on helping individuals and families achieve the dream of home ownership. I can testify to that, and people can testify to that. He has years of experience in pre-construction sales, resale properties, and real estate investing. Folu has earned the trust of clients who look to him for guidance on using real estate as a path to financial stability and long-term wealth. From working first-time home buyers through every stage of purchasing their first home to helping investors make informed decisions about new developments, Folu always brings a personal touch, a deep understanding of the market, and a genuine commitment to seeing his clients succeed. His goal is simple: to make home ownership and financial growth accessible to everyone. He also comes along with a partner of his who is a mortgage agent, Carrasco. Chris has over a decade of experience in banking and lending. He began his career with RBC in 2010, where he helped clients achieve their financial and home ownership goals. In 2022, he transitioned into the mortgage broker space, giving him the flexibility to work with multiple lenders and offer more personalized solutions. Chris made the move because he wanted to help more clients with greater choice, better rates, and tailored strategies to fit each unique situation. So I just want us to focus on what we're here to do today, and I believe we're going to take a lot from here. So I'm going to hand over to Folu now, who is going to start off this wonderful, wonderful seminar. Folu?
Thank you very much for that introduction, Pastor Shade, and thank you very much for having me here. It's definitely an honor to be here again. I do ask for your forgiveness. My voice may come in and out, just getting over a little cough here. So just bear with me while I get set up here. Just going to share my screen here. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, again, thank you everyone for being here. My name is Folu Akindunni. I am a real estate agent, investor, as well as a consultant. And I work with first-time home buyers, investors, and families who are looking to build generational wealth using real estate as a tool. Joining me is Chris Carrasco, who is an excellent mortgage broker. I'll let him introduce himself a little bit later, but Pastor Shade has essentially done a phenomenal job introducing him as well. Today's session is designed to make the buying process feel simple, clear, and achievable. So especially in today's market, which is a very different market from what we've seen in the past few years, from the crazy bidding wars to increasing interest rates. By the end of today's seminar, the goal is for you to understand how to get started, what the numbers actually look like, and why the current markets offer real advantages for first-time home buyers. Okay. So, before we talk strategy, it's important to understand where the market stands today. Right now, the GTA benchmark home price sits at around 956,800, which is about 5% lower than last year. The average sold price is also down at about 7.1% year over year. So I'm only using the GTA just as an example. This has happened all across the board in certain areas, in pockets. The average sold price has been much lower. And the biggest shift we're seeing in is increased inventory, meaning more homes available and significantly reduced competition. So what that means for you as a first-time home buyer is that homes are sitting on the market longer, right? Sellers are more comfortable. sellers are more flexible and willing to work with buyers, and buyers have more time and more negotiating power. So this is very different from the world of bidding wars and panic buying that we saw in 2021 and 2022, where homes were receiving 10, 20, 30 offers, and creating significantly frustrated buyers as well, to the point where buyers were putting in offers without any conditions that will protect them if something were to go wrong. And sometimes buyers were even willing to put in offers without even seeing the property at all, right? Which is also very risky, but that was just the market that we were in at that time. So, like, my screen keeps freezing. Okay. So why is this a buyer's window? Even though rates are higher than what we got used to, the current environment actually benefits buyers in a few ways. First, the prices have softened, giving you more entry points into the market. Secondly, because of the competition is so low, buyers can make more thoughtful decisions without rushing. Thirdly, banks and economists have noted that after recent interest rate cuts, affordability has actually improved compared to the past 2, 3 years. And finally, despite all the ups and downs in the GTA, or around the board, the GTA still remains one of the strongest real estate markets long term. And that's because of population growth, immigration, job opportunities, and limited supply. Of course, immigration has reduced significantly from what we saw a few years ago, but nonetheless, people are still coming into the country, and also within Ontario, the southern region of Ontario specifically. So while the market may not be quote unquote perfect, it offers a window of opportunity that many buyers didn't have before. I'm very sorry. I'm not sure what keeps happening. It must be my system. Okay. Now, before we look at before you even start looking at homes and viewing homes, you do need a strong financial foundation. So this starts with your credit score. It's very important to monitor your credit and understand how credit works and what affects it, especially in this part of the world. The higher your score, the better the mortgage options you have. And I'll let Chris go into more details about that after. Next, you'd want to figure out your down payment. In Ontario, you can buy with as little as 5%. 5% down payment for homes up to 500,000, or a blended rate up to 1.5 million. Now that used to be up to 1 million, and after 1 million, 20%. But there's been changes that have been made where it has been increased to a blended rate of up to 1.5 million, and anything after 1.5 million is 20% down. So you want to make sure you always budget for closing costs, because these are one of the realities, which can closing costs can range anywhere from 1 to 3% of your purchase price. So one of the most important step is getting pre-approved. Okay. This shows you exactly what you can afford, and it helps you shop with confidence. Okay. All right. So you're not guessing while you're out there or looking at houses, get your hopes up only to find out that your what you qualify for is less than the price point of the home that you're looking at. So finally, the advantage, you want to take advantage of first-time home buyer tools like the like the first home savings account, the FHSA, which is a registered plan that combines features of both tax-free savings account and RRSPs for first-time home buyers. You can take advantage of the RRSP home buyers plan as well, which allows you to withdraw for the purchase of homes that qualify, and as well as tax-free savings account. So first-time home buyers, so when you take advantage of these plans and combine them together, which you can combine them together, it allows you to be able to take advantage of putting down more money without opening yourself uh, to to taxes. Now, when you purchase a home, first-time home buyers also get land transfer tax rebates. So upon closing, the city that you purchase in will charge you a land transfer tax. As a first-time home buyer, you get a rebate only one time throughout your entire life. In Toronto is currently the only municipality that charges two land transfer taxes, but you also get two different rebates as well. So these can significantly reduce your upfront costs. So one of the biggest things that people get hung up on, when I speak with people, and which is also human nature, is in buying a home, thinking that you need your forever home right away. So, I mean, of course, everyone wants to purchase their forever home, right? But I would say don't get hung up on that, okay? Because for a lot of people, the smartest move that you can do is to start with a starter home, something that fits your budget and your lifestyle. Sorry, excuse me. So something that fits your budget and lifestyle right now, okay? And it gets you into the market. So another smart strategy is house hacking. So what that is, as an example, you purchasing a home with a basement unit or renting out a spare room, which will help. So the rent that you get from either the basement unit or the spare bedroom, you can use it to offset your mortgage payments. All right. So this allows you to pay less, and you can even increase your mortgage payments. That helps you pay down your mortgage faster. There are different strategies for this, and you can use that to even as an investment strategy as well, which will be for another seminar. And remember that real estate is a long-term game, okay? It should be viewed as a long-term asset. We have gone through a decade plus of a lot of people, being spoiled because of the rate home prices were increasing. All right, but real estate is and should be looked at as a slow moving asset. So you should be thinking 20, 25, 30 years out. Uh, the the first the first home you buy, it shouldn't it isn't the one that you need to stay in forever, right? So you don't always need to view it as the house that you need to stay in forever. So it's just a means to an end to get to where you want to go. It's one of the best ways that will get you started. Sorry, my system is moving so slow in switching the slides. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'll give you the exact path from thinking about buying to actually owning. Step one, get your pre-approval done. Okay. Step two will be to get clear on what type of home makes sense for your budget and your goals. Step three will be to start viewing homes. This is where you learn what feels right and what doesn't. Step four, when you find the home that works for you, we craft a strong offer that protects you and gives you the best chance of success. Step five, we have a professional do inspection on the home. Sometimes banks will also ask for an appraisal to be done. And at this stage, you'll also be working with your lawyer. Uh, the the final step will be closing, and this is where you get your keys and officially become an owner. It's a simple process when, broken into steps, and you don't need to do it alone. We'll be with you each step of the way. Now let's talk about what happens if you wait. All right. Many people sit on the sidelines for a long time, waiting for the right moment. So, but timing the market is almost impossible. It's impossible. Okay. You want to spend time in the market, not time the market. So if rates drop, which they've already started dropping slowly, competition could return instantly, and higher competition usually pushes up the prices. Okay. And if prices rise even slightly, your required down payment increases as well. So even staying in the rental market has a cost to it. Every single month of rent is money not building equity. So waiting doesn't always save you money. Sometimes it costs you the chance to get into the market while conditions are still in your favor. So what I would encourage you to do after today would be first to review your finances, especially your credit score and down payments. Reach out to Chris to get pre-approved, even if you're not planning to buy immediately. It's the best way to know what is realistic, and we can formulate a plan. And if you want guidance, whether it's understanding neighborhoods, budgeting, or the buying process, I'm happy to sit down with you one-on-one, and we can always map out a path to home ownership. This process is manageable, and if when you have the right plan and support, this is very doable. So you don't need to start looking at these things when you're ready to move. We can actually start doing this well ahead of time. So I would like to thank you all today for listening. Chris will talk about the mortgage aspects of homeownership now. We'll be happy to answer any questions after. So if you have any questions, just bear with us, and after Chris finishes, we can address your questions then. So just give me a second here while I switch over to Chris's presentation here.
You have it up?
Yeah. Here we go.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Let's see here. So this is the, just want to make sure everybody can see the screen right now.
Yeah, they will be able to see it.
They will be able to see
Yeah,
it?
because we
Okay.
can see it.
All right, perfect. Okay, so, all right, welcome. My name is Chris. I've been in the mortgage industry. I had the introduction. I've been in since 2010. And the reason why I ended up going from RBC to the broker space is because I just wanted to be able to open up some of the solutions that I can provide to the clients. So instead of just selecting from, a handful of policies with lenders, now I can't even begin to tell you how many policies I have access to. I think that it's a very wide number of them, and I think I'd like to have a solution for almost every scenario. But with that being said, I think that everybody struggles with in this particular market, where its main thing is going to be income, and the second piece is going to be the down payment. So as we go through my presentation today, we're going to cover those specific tools that we can leverage in certain scenarios. And if anybody has any questions, feel free. I know that some of the tools that are available may be suitable, but context always matters. But let's dive into it. So, going to talk to everyone today about the down payments. Also, when we're looking to do a purchase, we're going to cover a primary residence versus doing a rental, and then some alternate rental strategies that you can take, and also the rate strategies. Okay. So as Folu mentioned earlier, anything that you're looking to be able to put as a down payment, you can go in as little as 5%. And if you're looking to be able to do something that's going to involve some kind of rental element, you're looking at 20% minimum. All right. So what you can leverage in order to be able to save up for your down payments, you can use things like RSPs under the first-time home buyers. You can also use gifted down payment coming from family, tax-free savings account, first home savings account, your own savings. And when it comes to gifts, we can also get a little more, how would I say, a little bit more creative when it comes to gifted down payments, because let's just say you speak to a family member and say, okay, are you able to help me with a gift in order to purchase my first home? However, they don't have the cash sitting in an account. There might be an alternative to be able to turn around to that particular family member and say, hey, do you have some equity in the home that will be available in order to use as a down payment? So that might be a different strategy that you can take in that type of scenario. One big thing that I think is going to be great for everyone is going to also consider to use RO Burrow. It's a great solution. It's going to help you to bring your down payment up to 20%. There are a few caveats with that. However, what I would say is that this is going to help you in terms of your overall purchasing power. And this is also going to be able to help you with qualifying for a slightly higher mortgage that you might not have been able to do with just your regular purchase. So when it comes to,
So, Chris,
yeah,
I don't think it's
you don't think it's over?
no, it's not going to.
Okay. All right. One sec.
Sorry, just a second, guys. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's been lagging.
Okay. One sec. Hold on. So if this one here, so your screen sharing is paused. One sec.
Sorry, guys.
Share. And then desktop one, share. That should be it. Okay, perfect. Sorry about that.
No, muted. No,
Okay. I'm muted.
no, not. Yeah, they can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
they can hear you.
Okay. All right, sorry about that, everyone. All right, so yes, I would suggest for you to consider Arboro. It is going to be a great solution for a lot of individuals. It is a little bit of a, how can I say, it's an involved process with Arboro. So basically, you have to go through their application process, and because there is such a demand for their product, it can take a couple months, and basically they're going to vet you out and vet out your scenario. If everything looks good on the intake, then what they're going to do is they're going to help you purchase that property. For the most part, as long as the property is within reason and it's it's not a house that's kind of falling apart, they are going to be interested in providing that down payment assistance for that purchase. However, obviously, just keep in mind that it is a younger company, and because there's such a demand, it is a little bit of a slower intake. But once you get to that process where they're actually ready to help you put that down payment, it's going to be a much smoother process from there on in. So that is one of the strategies. I mean, in this particular market, it's important to note that we have to think outside of the box when it comes to purchasing the first home. And the reason being is that the market is going to be, it's shifted quite a bit, but the people who are, pushing and looking for alternative solutions are going to be the ones that are able to get their foot in the door a lot sooner, a lot quicker than the individual who is looking for your traditional route of financing and purchasing. Obviously, there's pros and cons to each, but the idea here is time in the market versus timing the market. Folu mentioned that before. If Arboro can help you get into a home today versus waiting another, 12 months, 2 years, because you're trying to accumulate your down payment, Arboro might be the right solution for you in order for you to get started. And then from there, you can start to make your steps into the next home and everything like that. It's basically get your foot through the door and then take your next step after that. All right. So I want to compare a quick little scenario here. And this is coming back to this Arboro situation for assisted down payment. If we take a household for the 5% down versus a 20% down, and we take a look at 105,000 household income in both scenarios. So 5% down scenario, the maximum that you'll be able to do is minimum, sorry, is 5%, 25K, and the mortgage amount that you're going to be able to leverage in that scenario is 475. So the purchase price in that scenario is 500K. You have default insurance on top of the mortgage as well. But you can quickly see here that it's a little bit restrictive with your down payment. That's gonna be your ceiling. If you are able to change your scenario, increase your down payment, I like to say change the game, not the player. So we're looking at 20% down, same scenario, 105K household income with a $200,000 down payment. Their mortgage amount is 507. So easily between the two scenarios, and all you really change is the down payment. And you can see that one person's buying a $500,000 home versus somebody who's going to be purchasing a $707,000 home. So it is a quick little breakdown to see how things play out. Another way to change your strategy, let's just say if you have a strong income, strong gifted down payment, however, your income is not quite getting you over the finish line. So what you can do in this particular scenario is you can take a look into a home that has some kind of rental element. So when we talk about rental elements, we want to be able to talk self-contained, meaning that there is a separation between the two units. And commonly, I can present an application as a rental for upstairs with the client living or the purchaser living in the basement or vice versa, or it could be a duplex. So in these types of scenarios, it makes it a lot easier for you to be able to increase your income, increase that purchasing power. The only thing that you need to ensure in this particular scenario is that you're going to need to make sure that you can come up with 20% down payment. It can technically work under default insured scenario where you're putting in less than the 20% down payment. However, the one thing that we need to pay attention to in that case is that the rules with the insurer are going to be a lot more strict as to what they allow. And most likely there's going to be, because normally in default insured scenarios, we don't need an appraisal. The default insurer or the insurer program is going to require for you to be able to do an appraisal. And that's just to ensure that the rental income and the value of the home is actually there. So it can get a little complex. However, if you have a particular scenario, you have an MLS listing, what you could do is you could share that information with me. I can come back to you and say, okay, this is what we're going to expect. And this is what is going to most likely play out. And then I can help you walk you through what the rest of the steps are going to look like. But I have done these type of programs in the past before. And it works out to be a lot easier than I can say on a presentation. However, we just need to know, what's the property look like? What's the MLS listing? Is it very clear that there's a separation between the two units? Is it a duplex? Are we renting the upstairs? Are we renting the downstairs? Those things play out on an individual basis. So I would much rather tailor my information to that particular scenario. And the other thing is that when it comes to rentals, if you're going to a B lender, and when we go to B lenders, we need minimum 20% down payment. But the good thing when we go to B lenders is that they allow for stretch ratios. So you might be able to increase your purchasing power that way. There are a few trade-offs when going to a B lender. However, that can make a big difference in terms of what your strategy is. Maybe if you don't go to a B lender, you're going to buy a home that might be your 5-year home. If we go to the B lender and we stretch your ratios, you might be able to get into a home that you can live in for 10 plus years. And the reason for that is because with the B lender, you can stretch your purchase. You can increase your purchase price. And that might be a longer term strategy for you on your home. Okay, so, what I would say here is that, Folu asked or suggested to you earlier in the presentation, hey, it's important in order to get a pre-approval, it's important to understand your numbers. I know that some of you are like, okay, Chris, I don't know about the down payment. I don't know about my MLS. The good thing and important thing for me is that I love to start my relationships early with my clients. Let's just say if you are on your own and you don't talk to me and it takes you 2 years in order to line up things, whereas maybe a quick conversation with me and I can work with you and maybe get you to closer to the finish line at 6 months or maybe 8 months instead of the 2 years. So what I would say is that it's important in order to engage Folu and I as early as possible in your process, because we're going to help coach you. We're basically going to be your coach to be able to say, okay, this is what's happening in 6 months. Okay, check in with me. Maybe the interest rates have changed. Maybe the first-time home buyer rules have changed. Maybe there's a big benefit or a new program that's going to be available to you. But the only way for you to be able to find out about that information is to engage professionals as ourselves. And then, what I'll do is I'll crunch numbers for you. I can actually get you ready for a pre-approval. I can log in some rates, and then we can also take a look at other scenarios. So once again, I invite everyone. Doesn't matter what stage you're in, doesn't matter how early you are in the process. We love starting our relationships early. We like to create lifelong relationships. So please talk to us, engage us, ask us questions. It doesn't, no matter where you are in the process, as long as you can talk to us, we can help you get you on your way. All right. The only other thing that I want to, open to everyone. Have we started the question period as of yet?
No, not to be finished. We can go ahead.
All right, perfect. So I do want to open the floor. There is no question that is, silly or, there's no dumb questions. So please ask them. And if you are a little bit shy, you don't want to open up in the public forum, please engage us. Send us a message, send us a WhatsApp, email. We're available to you wherever, we'll meet you wherever you're coming to us. So I'll open that up for question period.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you. That was a very great presentation. Even for me, I've learned quite some new things. And like I said, the questions is for, the seminar is for everybody to learn something. So do we have questions? You can type your questions in the chat. Or if you would like to ask verbal questions, you can signify by raising your hands through the Zoom thing, and then we can allow you on mute and ask your questions. But while people are preparing to ask questions, can you give us more explanation on what a B lender is? There must be an A lender before you get to a B lender, I assume.
Yes, absolutely. So when we're talking about A lenders versus B lenders, so an A lender is going to be an A bank. This is going to be your typical qualifying scenario. Something that's adjacent and would be considered still an A bank is going to be a monoline lender. And the reason why they call themselves monoline lenders is because they only offer mortgage financing, and they actually provide a lot better customer service. They don't actually want to talk to you about the bank accounts or anything like that. They're more focused. So it is a really good tool, a monoline, which is an alternative to the A banks, and they're great. They're still considered an A lender. A B lender is going to be a higher risk lender that is willing to take on more individuals that, if they don't have a proper credit score, or we're trying to stretch ratios, or we're trying to be able to come in at an alternative solution. So they're going to be great. I can get a lot more creative with them. They're willing to take in more scenarios, and because they don't have the same strict regulations that the A banks or the monolines will have. And then there's going to be, which is referred to as C or privates. That's the overall landscape. I don't like to go to C or privates. However, they do provide solutions in more unique situations, but I don't think is going to be applicable for first-time home buyers. But that's the landscape overall.
Okay, so I have a question on the chat.
Yeah.
The question is, if you want to start but don't think you can get a place that would suit your family needs, is it better to wait or, 1 second. Is it better to wait or start with something smaller than that you can rent out to build your income and so on until you can get into the home that suits your needs?
I will follow. You want to tackle this a little bit and I'll add.
So that is a great question because it was also part of what I had mentioned earlier about the first home doesn't have to be your forever home. So if you are going to purchase a home that doesn't quite fit your family or it's not big enough for your family, it's always good to still get into the market. So whatever your budget can afford. Now, when you do that, getting a property that fits your budget, it will be something that potentially you can rent out. So we need to get it in a great area so that the property can be self-sustaining, or at least very, very close to self-sustaining, so that you're not carrying a mortgage and renting elsewhere. Because with that, you're most likely going to be renting somewhere else as well, right? So we want to make sure that at least the property that you're getting, you're able to get good market rents that will cover all or very close to all to your expenses. And as interest rates continue to drop and property values continue to rise, you can always utilize the equity because the equity will build a lot faster than you can save, right? That's usually how it works out. And then you can use the equity, or even if you have to sell it and use the proceeds and the profits to purchase a bigger home and to upsize. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. If you still have more questions based on what he has said, please put it in the chat. So I have another question. Can you throw more light on properties with rental value?
Yep, absolutely. So, when we're looking at properties, let's just say, for example, we want to be able to increase your income, and it can make a drastic difference with the lenders. And the reason being is that you can bring your scenario, if you have a household income of 80,000, I'll give you, for example, and we can generate $2,000 per month in rent, either from a duplex or let's say one of the self-contained units on a property. Now we're increasing that income from 80,000 to closer to 100 and change if it's 2,000 per month. So now your purchasing power does get increased because it has the elements to be potentially rented. And as long as we can show the market rents and it's evident and it's very clear to the lender, it's just very easy in order for us to be able to talk about increasing the income. And just kind of touching on Ria's question earlier about, taking a look at purchasing a place, and then actually trying to be able to get a better place for the family, or if you're just going to be able to get a place to get started, I would suggest is that it's much better to get started as early as possible. And, you can have, if you're paying, for example, for rent right now, and you're paying $2,000 per month, and you purchase a place and it's actually renting out for $2,000 a month. Folu touched on it. You can generate your income and you're offsetting your existing rental amounts that you're paying. And you're also, with the course of time, increasing the equity in your property. So you're basically 2xing your ability to purchase over the course of time, just by having that extra rental income and having that equity available.
Okay, thank you. Another question, what's better for a first-time buyer, a fixed or variable mortgage rate? The person says, I've noticed a lot of brokers tend to offer fixed rates. Can you give some insight on that?
Absolutely. So I always suggest for first-time home buyers, it's always a unique situation for each. But if I have an individual who's on fixed income, they're first-time home buyer, they're getting their feet wet when it comes to a mortgage payment, I'm going to suggest a fixed rate. And the reason being is that you want predictability for the first couple of years in purchasing that home, so then that way you can get used to things. Now, if we take another scenario where somebody has a really strong income, they're being conservative on their purchase price, I would say then that would be a good candidate to consider variable rates. And the reason being is that even if rates do move, which there's no prediction for increasing rates, it's more stagnant or lowering at this point. But if rates move, for the individual who has that extra purchasing power or has that extra income to cover for variability, that might be a good individual to consider variable. However, it is a personal choice. I do want to, consult with the individual to see if it's a right fit, but I typically recommend fixed for first-time home buyers.
Thank you. Another question is this: what's the best strategy for buying an investment property, especially for a beginner, a fixer-up or a turnkey?
I'll let you touch on this a little bit, and I want to add.
So it really depends on the individual. So a fixer-upper is, if you are willing to put in the work, because it is a lot, it is a lot of work, right? Turnkey, you're hands off and you're collecting, your checks, your returns. So it really depends on the individual. However, I'm very sorry. I hope you can really. When we purchase an investment property, we're going to follow fundamentals. Okay, so fundamentals meaning we're buying in places that have amenities, there's infrastructure, there's growth, job opportunities, and you have a diverse microeconomy, meaning you have different industries in the area that you're buying as opposed to one main industry. Okay, so following the fundamentals to buy your investment property will be the most important thing. Whether it's a fixer-upper or a turnkey will really depend on the individual and also the price point as well. So it depends on the individual.
Yeah, and just to add, for anybody that is looking at an investment property, when we're taking a look at a fixer-upper or turnkey, it really depends on the financial strengths that the individual can bring to the application. And the reason being is that if we have a fixer-upper, then there's only going to be specific lenders that lend on that property. Lenders will start to look at the property as what is the quality of their potential, how do I say, like, basically, if the lender has to take over the property for whatever reason, is there quality in the property? Can they sell it to an individual relatively quickly? If the place is in a very rough shape, then you're going to most likely be looking at private lenders, and it's going to be a high down payment. If you have a turnkey, a lot more lenders are going to come to the scenario, come to the table, because it's not going to be a property that they're going to be concerned with if they have to take over and sell. Lenders are always just basically trying to mitigate or reduce their risk. And the more quality of a property that you have, then the easier it is for them to finance on that property. So what I would say is that there is a strategy to it, but it depends on how much liquidity you have. If you have strong liquidity, you can consider fixer-upper. If you're a little bit tight on funds to be able to do that fixer-upper, then I would say consider turnkey, because you can open up your options and you're not restricted by what the lender is going to consider a good quality property.
Thank you for that. If anybody still has questions on that, please put in the chat. So we have another question about this arboro. I never even heard that before. I'm just hearing it for the first time also. So the person wants to know for you to throw more light on that down payment assistance, the pros and cons of it.
Of course. So the pros would say it would be that you're actually increasing your down payment. You're increasing your purchase power. The trade-off with that is that arboro is going to have a piece of ownership on your property. And once the legal comes into play, and when you go for your closing, arboro is going to share the ownership with you, and they will put those numbers based on how much they have to match until the 20%. So it is a great tool if you're going to purchase a place, you're trying to stretch your purchase, you're purchasing your longer term home. The trade-off is that you do have to share that ownership with arboro. And at some point, you may have to buy arboro out. But if you're going to be staying in the home, you don't have to worry about it if you're going to go to sell the property. And when you sell the property, depending on the share ownership, let's just say, for example, it's a 50-50 scenario. If the property has increased in value by 100,000, you're not going to get that full 100,000. Arboro is going to take essentially 50% of that 100%. So arboro is a great solution. It's just that the trade-off is that you share your ownership, and I would only consider that in a scenario where you're going to be there longer term, and that you're under the understanding that you will be sharing some of the profits if the property value goes up. If the property value goes down, that's a little bit more of a tricky scenario, but I don't think we need to dive too much into that, because it's more of a longer term strategy. You're not buying a house for a 1 or 2 year term and then selling and taking a loss on the property. I don't think that would be a smart decision, but there are some more caveats with that.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I think the government used to do something similar to that. Are they still doing it for some properties under 500,000, something like that?
Not at the moment. They were offering a program like that in the past, but There has been a couple of other companies that have popped up with the down payment assistance. Everything has, like its pros and cons. But, as somebody who's looking to purchase and to get into the market, you need to figure out, okay, like what am I trying to get out of this particular purchase? And will this be suitable for me? Because I've heard of other companies that will say that, okay, I have to be your purchasing agent. We'll give you the full commission, and we also have to be your selling agent. But the problem with that is that now you have somebody who's going to help you to do the purchase and who's going to do the sale. But if they're not doing a good job of selling your property, guess what? You don't get to make any choices at that particular stage. But you find out some about some of the drawbacks after you sell, and there may be some things that come up as part of that process you're not aware of, and then it's a trade-off. Arboro, at least it's very clear right from the start as to what the trade-off is, and it's very clear, very understandable. But I would say just be cautious about some of these other companies that provide some of these benefits. I like Arboro because clients have gone through it and they've gone through okay. The only trade-off I would say, if you like what they do, it's just that it's going to be a little bit of a lengthy process. It takes a couple months in order to onboard, and that's just because of the strong demand for it. So, everything has its pros and cons, but you just really need to know what you're trying to get out of it. Is it truly beneficial for you? And do you have a clear exit out of that will be satisfactory?
Thank you. Another question is about investment property tips. Where can one read more? Do you have like a thing you can share where people can read more about it?
From a financing point. Is that from a financing point?
Okay, we're gonna let that slide for now. We want to save Folu that. Okay. You can share the link. You can share the link where they can read about it later.
Yeah.
Okay. So a question, are you making monthly payment to Arboro to repay the loan?
No, you're not. You're not making monthly payments to Arboro. Basically, what you're doing is that they're coming up with the down payment, and the part where they come in is only at the time of sale or at the time that you purchase them out on the property. So there's no actual ongoing repayment to them. It's an ownership piece. They own your home. They own a portion of it, and the percentage is going to be based on how much they have to put to bring you up to 20%. And that will get settled with the lawyers. And then the only time that you are going to be making a payment to them is either on sale or if you buy them out.
Okay.
It's essentially like a silent partner.
Yeah, silent partner. Okay. Okay, what's your opinion on pre-built homes? Is it a good idea in this market? What are the pros and cons?
Yeah, so I love pre-construction. I started in pre-construction and I'll always be in pre-construction. And the reason why is because there's always opportunities, right? Because there's a lot of
Is it pre-built or pre-construction?
pre-built is I'm assuming it's in pre-construction. I'm assuming you mean pre-construction for the pre-built.
1 second.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
pre-construction. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and in the current market that we're in right now, there is a tremendous amount of opportunity. And the reason being is because builders are trying to offload their inventory. So there's a lot of incentives. There's a lot of negotiation that you can do on pricing or adding a credit at the end. I know one builder that's giving up to 65,000 at the end on closing. So that would take care of all your closing costs. So if purchased properly, pre-construction is a great option.
I'll add to that. Honestly, with pre-construction right now, like I know that builders are starting at this point, but another place where you can get into the market and actually find a really good deal is a lot of builders are having, they're struggling to be able to have individuals close on their homes. So people are actually getting and actively looking for ways to be able to get out of their pre-construction that's closing within the next couple of months or even, in the next couple of days. So what I would say is that to Folo's point is that there might be a way for you to find a really good pre-construction home and find a tremendous deal. There have been some purchases that I've witnessed, and my jaw absolutely just dropped because I was surprised that clients were able to actually get a home for $300,000 or sometimes even $400,000 less than what the market would be asking for, because people are looking to the pre-construction market and trying to find those particular deals that will close much sooner rather than waiting a couple of years. But Folu would have more of an intimate knowledge of that piece. I have, in terms of seeing clients actually take everything to the end. It's amazing. It's astonishing to see some clients actually snag up some really strong deals.
And just another thing about that, about pre-construction, you mentioned you wanted to know what the pros and cons are. So a negative when it comes to pre-construction is the deposit structure. So the deposit structure, just like if you buy resale, you could use 5% down and get insured mortgage. But with pre-construction, you most likely have to put down 20% over time. And again, the pro is, what Chris had mentioned. Right now, in the assignment market, people trying to offload their pre-construction purchase, there's a lot of opportunities there.
Thank you. Do we have more questions? Is everything clear? If you have more questions, can you put that in the chat? That's good. That's really good. My question on pre-construction is, I know there was a time it was really a big thing. Is that market still there today?
The market is still there. So with pre-construction, there is a strategy to go to use to buy, because pre-construction, you need to make money in the beginning, very beginning, the middle, and the end in order for you to win. Okay. If you're buying pre-construction, it's in the future. So you're talking 2, 3, 6 years in the future. So a lot of times, builders price the properties for future prices. But if you get in a situation that we are in now, but you bought in 2020, 2021, 2022, the people who have bought at that time are the ones who are getting hurt now because they didn't get in early enough, right? So there is a strategy with pre-construction, and always to talk to someone who knows how to navigate it. But there's a lot of opportunities right now in pre-construction.
Okay, that's great. So will our bureau do down payment assistance for resales only, or also pre-construction?
So as far as I know, resales only, and the reason being is that with pre-construction, there's too much time delay between the pre-construction and the actual closing date. And what they do on each property, they basically you bring to them the MLS, and then they vet it out and they say, okay, well, we're interested in putting the ownership on this one, or we're not. 9 times out of 10, as long as the property is in good condition, resaleable, then they will help you to purchase. But if you have a property that doesn't have running water, doesn't have any heat or anything like that, obviously that's where you're going to run into issues. So long story short, it's going to be resale and not pre-construction at this point.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any more questions as we round up today? Would purchasing a pre-construction property be a good idea for someone purchasing their first home?
I would say, like, I'll follow. I'll let you. Sorry, I'll jump in. But when it comes to pre-construction, each individual, it's unique. So I would say that we want to get to know and get to understand your unique situation. But where I would say that typically pre-construction is going to be a good idea is that maybe you don't have your full down payment right now. Then you're going to engage Folu, and then Folu will help you find the value in today's market. And then on my side is that you have some time in order to put together your down payment. You're not coming up with it right away, but you have your ability to save over time. The only thing is that you also have a little bit of a time delay to get into the market. So my next question to you would be like, what are you doing today in order to help you get into that property? Are you renting at the moment? Do you have any opportunity to help increase your down payment? What is your length of time? What's your plans? Are you looking to move in with your family? So there's a couple of questions that we would want to get to understand, but overall, it is a good idea. It's just, is it the right idea for that particular individual?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. It really depends on the individual. It's a case by case. Pre-construction, like I said, it is a great option depending on where you are. And if we're able to purchase or find like a great deal. But if you're trying to get into the market, right now with the way the market is on the resale side, there's a lot of buyers sellers are willing to work with buyers. So there's still a lot of great deals on the resale. Pardon?
Okay.
Oh,
So we're going to be rounding up shortly. That is Folu's email address, and Chris is going to put his email address there. If you have any questions, please reach out to them, or you can reach out to me and I would get the information across to you. Chris has put his email address there, christopher.carrasco@cleartrust.ca. Please copy those things, put it in your information, and when you send them email, they'll send you their phone number. You can call them and you guys can talk going on. Rev, are you there? Okay, there's still a question.
Sure.
I'd like to add that for anyone looking to open a first home savings account, make sure you open it before December 31st so you don't lose the 8,000 in contribution room that you're allocated for this year. Make sure to open it even if you put $20 in.
That's thank you so much for that, Kamsi. So there was a question before in regards to the FHSA first home buyer savings account and the RRSP home buyer plan. So thank you very much for putting that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that person to connect with you, right? I'll get that person to connect with you, Kamsi.
Yeah, and Kenzie, that's a very good point. The great thing about the first home savings account, it's almost like contributing to your RSP because it does have the taxable benefit. The great thing about the first home savings account is that it doesn't require repayment, where the RRSP, first time home buyer, does require repayment. So there are obviously some pros and cons between the two. However, if you're looking to be able to make sure it's a clean purchase without repayment to that particular investment vehicle, first home savings account is amazing. If you guys don't have money in it now, you should put it in today. Just, sign into your online banking, see how you can set it up, put $1 in if you really need to, and then go from there. So Kamsi does make a really good point.
That's good. Thank you so much, everyone. That
Kamsi,
is very great. If you need any more questions, please reach out to me. If you need information about Chris, if you need information about Folu, if you need more information about Kamsi's questions, there are people here that will be able to assist and point you into the right direction. We are loaded with multiple skills and talents. Let's take advantage of our people that are always here to support us at all times. They have both made it happen for a lot of people. And I see that there are many people online that maybe this will be their first home. Take advantage of it. As you have heard, there is no better time than now. Now is always the time, so we don't see procrastinating. We can hear today that we have talked about there are ways to get into this thing. We should not let fear hold us back. Every question that you ask them or you reach out to them is a good question because you're asking it for a reason, and they will provide guidance and direction. The goal is to make it happen for every one of us, and I want to encourage everyone to continue to pursue that. Thank you so much today. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Folu, for joining us. Folu, I hope you feel better soon. Thank you for, still coming out to speak, even though your voice, you had challenges with your voice, but we heard everything you said. And I hope everybody has noted. If you need their phone numbers, please reach out to me if you know me, or you can even ask Kamsi or anybody that brought you to this panel. You'll be able to have access to that, because some people just want to call and ask questions, and that's also okay. Okay. Do we have anything else to say, Chris and Folu, before we end
Yeah,
the seminar?
yeah, I just want to thank you very much again for always, giving us the opportunity to help people, because Chris and I are very passionate about just trying to get everyone into home ownership, right? Because there is a lot of benefit. It's one of the best ways of building generational wealth. So thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you so much for having us. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Just keep in mind that this market, we have to be able to be cognizant of what's happening. We have to come up with different unique ways to be able to help people get into their home ownership. It's increasingly getting harder for everyone. And we're really just professionals here. We're ready to answer any of your questions. We want to start relationships early. It doesn't matter if you're just on your day one or if you're ready to purchase tomorrow. We're really here to start those relationships. We just want to be able to make sure we get people the right help. We want to coach everyone. We want to get them to the finish line. But, all in all, I want to thank everyone for their time and paying attention to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.